Hello, it's Dr. Lee from English Grammar TV. Today we'll be studying Lesson 6, How to Use Verb Tense Correctly. First of all, let's look at the error examples because it's very confusing when you are dealing with verb tenses. Because there are so many tenses, it's very confusing, especially in examinations like SAT, ACT, TOEFL, IELTS, or the National College Entrance Examination of your country. Okay, so it's difficult and you have to study very carefully. Now look at this error example. Wrong. Americans found themselves with less free time over the past few decades, even though they are earning more money. Or you have 10 seconds to figure out whether there is really a mistake in this sentence. Okay? 10 seconds. Okay? You might have already noticed the right answer, right? Right. The mistake is right over here. Have found. Okay, so here you have to use the present perfect tense, not found themselves, because it's a simple past tense. Just because we have over the past few decades, the adverbial phrase over here, so that indicates that we have to use the present perfect tense because something happened in the past at the time of speaking. That means right now, action is completed. Therefore, we have to use present perfect tense. Okay? Let's move on. Grammar point. Different verb tense forms have different tense meanings. The following are the most common types of problems with verb tenses. 1. The simple past tense. We use the simple past tense to express an event or situation. That means something happened or the state of affairs, that means situation, that began and ended in the past. Notice the words began. That means something began in the past. And something ended in the past. That means in the time of speaking. That means when we are talking about it, it has ended. Okay? That's called the simple past tense. For example, at Harvard University, Obama became the first black editor of the Harvard Law Review. Harvard Law Review is a magazine, a very famous magazine. Okay? So that means that here we only need to use became because the action is completed in the past. That's it. Let's look at example number 2. After winning the lottery, lottery, that means you win some money. The farmer began spending money like a Hollywood star. So when you have money, you want to use it, right? So especially when you win the lottery, you have a lot of money, $1 million, or several $1 million, or even millions of dollars. So the farmer is a human being, so when he has money, he wants to use it, right? That's understandable. The thing is, when we are dealing with the simple past tense, then we know that the action began in the past and ended in the past. So we just state the fact. For example, this guy came to the United States in 1986, right? That's it. So that's called the simple past tense. Easy. Okay? Now let's move on to the error example questions. Wrong. Jenny has moved to Los Angeles in 2008. It's wrong, right? Because you have the adverbial phrase in 2008. In plus a past time. In 1996. In 2005. Whatever, right? So you have to use the simple past tense. So the right answer is Jenny moved to Los Angeles in 2008. So that's the simple past tense. Okay? To conclude, the simple past tense deals with the event or situation that began and ended in the past. Okay? Now let's move to number 2, the present perfect tense. We use the present perfect tense to give an idea that the action started in the past and still relates to the present. So something happened, began in the past, it has still connections to the present. That means right now, as the time of speaking. Okay? In other words, the action in the past has a result now. Okay? For example, Michael has just finished his term paper after weeks of toiling in the library and at home. Has just finished because Michael began his term paper in the past. At the time of speaking, that means right now, it's finished. So we use the present perfect tense. Okay? For example, I began reading the novel last week. Right now, it's finished. So I've just finished the novel. Right? It's the present perfect tense. Okay, let's look at the error examples. Wrong. They lived in New York since 1998. Since plus the past time, that means a point of time in the past. It's wrong. The right answer is they have lived in New York since 1998. So once you have the adverbial phrase introduced by since, so you have to use the present perfect tense, okay? Because it has something to do with the present now or the result now. Number 3, the past perfect tense. We use the past perfect tense to refer to a past situation or activity, that had happened before another past situation or activity, or before a particular time in the past. In other words, if we want to use the past perfect tense, that means there are two actions happening. One happens in the past, but there is another action that had happened before that. It's called the past before the past. Therefore, we have to use the past perfect tense. Okay? For example, Joyce had just eaten dinner before her parents arrived at 7:30 last night. 7:30 last night, right? Joyce had just eaten dinner, past perfect tense, before her parents arrived. That means she had her dinner first, then her parents came. So therefore, we have to use the past perfect tense. Number 2, the movie had begun by the time we got over there. We got to the theater, right? But the movie had begun. So that's called the past before the past. Okay? Let's look at another example. By 2011, the United States had already become the #1 destination for international students. Okay? Now, our examples. Wrong. Tom Jones have lived in Denver for 10 years before he moved to Silicon Valley to start his own company. It's wrong, right? The right answer is Tom Jones had lived in Denver for 10 years before he moved to Silicon Valley to start his own company. So this action happened before Tom Jones moved to Silicon Valley. Therefore, we have to use the past perfect tense. Okay? That's all for today, and I hope you can pay special attention to this. Okay? So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.